Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today as I discuss some masterclass topics that you've had for me over the past few weeks. My friend Tim in Massachusetts wrote, "Thank you for your wonderful YouTube presentation to our flute community during this difficult time of musical separation. It's been my pleasure, Tim." As a colleague of flute teaching, I was wondering if you have any ideas specifically involving the coordination of the fingers and tonguing in rapid passage work. There often seems to be an impasse with this problem when a student can double or triple tongue rapidly, as well as move their fingers accurately. But then in putting the two concepts together, they tend to fatigue and lose their coordination, resulting in not being able to maintain the tempo. I'm going to go straight to clapping. We are going to establish rhythm, much like you would with a young child who you want to teach music. You say, let's clap together and in time, and you pick a reasonable tempo. Then we're going to only address the notes. I'm going to touch my nose as the notes, so that's fingering. Only fingering, right? And that would, in Bach C major, would translate to recognizing the scale work and the evenness of fingers. And then I'm going to touch the opposite hand to the opposite ear as my double tonguing or articulation or whatever the articulation is. Here's how I'm going to practice it. Only on one note. Why? Because that's all we're working on is the articulation. So now that I've practiced the articulation, which is just in time, touching my opposite ear with the opposite hand, we're now going to try and coordinate without slowing down. So what we would do is take tiny little spurts. So I'm only going to do one at a time. Why? Because I'm teaching my articulation when to show up. I'll say that again. Your articulation has to have impetus. If you're only expecting it to be one aspect and then the fingering is the other aspect, they don't work in tandem. They come together with the rhythm. So make sure that you're practicing tiny little, or your students are practicing tiny little bits with the proper articulation. But first they should do a lot of different exercises to get there. So, and then you can microphrase. Oh, we did that once before. So now the articulation can fit into that with clapping or beats. Then you start back on the 2. And then do the whole thing. Now, here comes fluency. We must be able to go from slow and speed it up because we've kept doing the same thing. If I start bobbing up and down and moving around and trying to think about other things, this is not going to happen. This took a long time to learn, by the way. So let's go back to the Bach. We're going to try to play a little faster, and we're going to make sure that the rhythm is behind the notes that I'm playing, that the air is behind the notes that I'm playing, and my fluency is all there. I know the notes. Then I fly. I know the theory behind the notes, and I know the tempo at which I started and where I want to end up. I know for me, articulation is a fluency of language. So make sure you know what beat has what syllable. That's really what I'm getting at, Tim. I hope I've helped. Thank you all for joining me. And please don't hesitate to ask me questions regarding your topic.